Okay, this is a recording of, well, I just want to talk, and I thought I might as well start recording these talks. Oh, what type of talk should I talk about this time? I guess I should start on how people view others. People's views on others doesn't bother me for the most part, but once it gets to a certain extent, like making fun of their, well, bullying, I guess, is the only reason it gets to me, I guess. It's always when I start recording these things that it starts getting weird, because normally I could talk for full on fucking hours and it doesn't bother me one bit. But once I start talking and recording, that's just like, uh, man, I feel old now. But I just watched a video where a guy, the video was my 3,000 pound life, and the guy, who, look, I'm not trying to be an asshole. He was an asshole, and he deserves this. He acted, well, he was self-aware in the fact that he he is morbidly obese, and he understands that somebody's enabling him to do this. But you know who he blames? He should blame himself because he's letting this happen. He's not stopping himself. He is self-awareness of his problem. And what's he do? He blames the one letting him do it. And who's letting him do it? Oh, his father. His father goes out and buys him both food, and the son just goes off while he's being recorded on TV. He just says, I have an enabler, and essentially he goes on to say he blames the enabler and not himself. Just listen. I used to be addicted to a thing I don't want to get into right now, but it's nothing that bad. It's nothing bad. It's just I was addicted to something for a good while. I know how dangerous addictions are. I've seen it tear away families, kill people, and all that. I mean, hell, my original family were drug dealers and all that crap, and I'm one of the last members of my family to live. At least that's what I've been told. I have a sister, a brother, and grandparents, and that's about it. If there's any more of them, I don't really know about them then. But just addictions, they hurt, they kill, they tear families apart. As someone who hasn't really had a real family, I was, I guess you can call me a drug baby. So I never really got to see my real family. The only time I didn't even know I had a brother and sister for most of my life. And when I found out that what happened and why I'd never seen them before, it pissed me. It ticked me off because I can't get into that now because of family family reasons. So I won't get into it. But like I was saying, addictions bring nothing but pain and destruction. And the issue is not the issue is that, well, they're hard to get rid of. Every time you try to get clean, you're either lying to yourself, just saying, I'll get off of it eventually, just not today. And you keep saying that to yourself over and over again. And until you either forget it or you finally realize, I'm addicted to this. And then once you do try to get clean, you just, after the first little while, after a little while of not doing it, depending on how hard the addiction is, you break. And when you break hard. When I first tried to get clean of my addiction, I lasted for about a month, and then I broke. And I stayed in my room for, say, knows how long. Um, when someone, usually when somebody tries to break an addiction, they always break. Usually. I don't know why I said always then. Just usually. It always depends on the amount, well, how badly you're addicted to it. Like, for example, heroin and drugs and all that. Those are really hard to get rid of. But once you have it and you get addicted, it's near impossible to stop by yourself. Because your body starts acting like you need it to live. And you will do anything to get that fixed. Whether it be kill, steal, hurt people, and all that. Why? Well, I am a literal monster and complete and utter. While I'm a literal monster and complete and utter jerk sometimes. Well, I could never condone this type of behavior. Having just being able to do something like steal thousands of dollars, kill people for no reason, and all that. I cannot condone this. And the thing is, I usually have no problem with this type of crap. I usually don't care about people dying and all that, but once it gets into addiction stuff and hurting your own family, flesh and blood, that's where I start to get pissed. Because then it's just, you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting everyone around you that cares about you. But do they care? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they blame the others for what happened to them. And sometimes they're right. It's the enablers are sometimes the reasons they ended up like this. For example, I knew a kid whose dad was a drug dealer we were friends for a little while, and he didn't do drugs until maybe a year after we became friends. And I started noticing he became twitchy and agitated easily. It wasn't until I figured out what his dad did that I realized. And I tried to talk to his dad, and his dad went off on me, and I just never talked to him again. We did talk again once, right before I went to high school. He looked like the typical vagabond heroin addict. He looked like a heroin addict. So he had actually I probably should have said meth because he had the meth teeth too. It just it hurt me to know that another one of the people I cared about was destroyed by drugs. I can't get into who he was for obvious reasons. Like, there's a lot I can't talk about with normal, to, when it comes, there's really not a lot I can talk about. But you gotta understand, I've been through some things and seen some stuff. Some things kids my age should never witness, like watching the color drain from a person's face while they're slowly dying. Watch an animal you raised since it was just born be literally ripped limb from limb by a pack of dogs. And almost just stand still and watch your best friend for your entire life be killed. Note how I said almost watched. I think I can get into that story, but depending on how this goes, I might just cut it out. I've been playing with this thing this whole time. I'm just maneuvering it and making it talk. Because for some reason that makes it easier for me to talk. I don't know why, it just does. But I'll go into the one I was just talking about. So, me and my friend, whose name I can't disclose right now, actually, I probably can't. I'll just say Matt. Me and Matt were walking around the neighborhood, and there's this place we call the creek. It's basically this sewers. It connects to a sewer system, and there's this little tiny creek where there's ducks and all snakes. And apparently, we were about to find out there were also, well, there's not anymore, but for some reason, at one point there was a gator, and I suspected there was one because normally there was like 6 ducks or 12 ducks there, and over the the over the span of like a week or two or a few months, half of those ducks just disappeared, and there were feathers in the water. So I just assumed something was eating them, like a snake or something. But on that day, I found out it wasn't a snake. It was an alligator. I know there is no way there was an alligator there naturally. So what I'm assuming is that somebody, well, you know the old legend, somebody flushes the gator down the toilet. But in this case, somebody had left the gator in this sewer outlet, and it had grown up there, or it was already grown. They released it stupidly, but I don't want anything to do with the legal issues there because I really don't care. What matters is what happened. So Matt, my friend Matt, in a wheelchair, he can walk. It's just he will almost always just fall down and need help. So he's basically he only walk for like a couple seconds for falling. So we would just you would just go to this place to hang out and watch the ducks and just eat and relax because this was our one safe place from everything. No politics, no girls, no fights, no issues. So I go up and there's a little area you can climb up and you can go walk around. So I was up there and I was just sitting and just relaxing, looking at the creek, the far edge of it where the ducks usually are. And I hear something get out of the water. And then I hear a big thud, like something heavy just hit the concrete. Then I hear Matthew yell, Saf! So I look, I turn around, freak out, and there is this about medium-sized alligator that tried to lunge for Matthew, and it apparently missed. So it was now attempting to walk close to him, and from what I'm guessing, I know a lot about animals, and animals only usually go for humans or food when they're desperate. And they did look like it was malnourished a good bit, so I was gonna guess and say it was desperate and had anything to eat for a while. And I was I was stuck for solid maybe 5 seconds before, or maybe it's 10 before I realized my friend my best friend in the world is about to be killed in front of me. So, what would any sane person do in the situation? Call for help? Run away? Pull the knife out of your pocket and stab it in the eye? What did I do? Oh boy, I jumped off the concrete wall and landed on its back. And you know the whole thing you see where like people wrangle alligators and they shut their mouth? Because if you don't know, an alligator's the bite is a lot stronger than their opening of the jaw. So as long as you get the jaw closed off, you'll be relatively safe as long as you're on the back. So I did that. I closed the jaw, but there's one thing I forgot. And what did I forget, you ask? The fact that alligators have an extremely powerful tail. So, oh, and the fact that they can roll. So it rolls me off, and I get swatted with a big tail. Did I stay on the ground, you ask? No. My adrenaline finally kicked in, and I ran over to Matthew. Well, before I ran to him, I poked the alligator in the eye so it couldn't see me easily. So I ran over to Matthew and literally grabbed him by his shirt and tossed him out of the creek. And then I followed afterwards, grabbed his wheelchair, and just fucking sped him out of there. And I didn't look back, and we didn't go back to the creek after a good maybe month. I think this is back in. It was back in like 2016, I'd like to say. 2017. I'm pretty sure it was in 2017. But how did I go from literally talking about addictions and hurting your family to saving your best friend from a gator? And there's probably some legal issues with this story that I really don't want to or get into. The main fact, I don't like legal crap, and I don't want anything to do with it. When we went back, it was gone. End of story. I don't ask, I don't tell. So as long as this never happened again, I'm not gonna get into legal issues. Are there legal issues with this? Probably. Do I care? No. And the reason I'm looking through this is because I got two different cameras recording me. If so, I can have two different records in case one breaks. So that was that story. I could probably go on for a little longer, so I just might. I don't know. It's 2 in the morning right now, so a little groggy, to be honest. But again, addictions. I still don't understand how I got to gators from addictions. But if you have an addiction, go seek help, please. Unless it's a type of addiction that doesn't affect anything. Like, if it doesn't hurt anybody and it doesn't hurt you in any way, it's relatively okay, but still try to get rid of it. Like, I used to have a nail biting addiction. But I'm not sure it's addiction more it is a habit, but every few minutes I had to bite my nails. And, but now I just, instead of biting them, I just go across a concrete or brick wall and just slide my nails on there. I mean, it works, but it's also the problem that it sharpens them. I don't use them for weapons or anything. It's just to keep me from biting them. Because I was real bad about that. And that's not the aforementioned addiction I had. Because I can't get into that. But just, I got over it. Both of my addictions, so. Yes, what else can I talk about? I think it is. Have you ever done something that you really don't know why you did? Like, do I get into this? Will this cause drama? I don't know. This will give me backlash and people will call me a complete utter jerk for it, but I want to talk about it. I really, really do, but people are going to call me an asshole and a jerk for it. I know, there's only those people, but I have to get this off my chest. I need to. In middle school, I had a girlfriend. Let's call her. Let's call her. Let's call her May. It's not her actual name, but let's call her May. Me and May dated for. Well, we started dating after I dated her best friend. And after that whole thing, I loved both of them. It's just back then I really didn't know how dating worked. I didn't know how love worked. I didn't know how any of that worked. And I was extremely social outcast during this. So, and heck, even May said at one point she thought I was the delinquent type. Do I blame her? No. But after me and her best friend broke up, well, she broke up with me. Me and May started to get to know each other. We became friendly one another. And then I can't remember if it was me or her that asked. So how I think it may have been her. She may have brought it up. I really can't remember. I'm sorry. I know I should remember these things, but I have bad memory when it comes to things like this. But one of us asked how much the other liked the other, like this, and I asked her, and she said she liked 25% of her liked her. Later, I would find out it was more like 70% of her. So we started dating. And it was going great, actually. It was probably some of the happiest months of my life, to be honest. She gave me a reason to live again. And during this time, I was going through really bad depression. I even actually was I attempted to kill myself at one point. But the only reason I didn't was because I have too many responsibilities. I have to take care of two geckos, a pet gator I didn't tell anybody about for a little while, a tarantula, like 4 dogs, and 9 cats. Could I leave all these animals without any protector? No, because I may not have a reason to live. They do, and I had to live for them, which did give me a reason. But other than that, I really didn't have anything to live for a good long while. But she gave me a reason to live. And another thing to live for. Hope. She gave me hope and love. What did I give her? I gave her anger and gave her hate and depression. I'll get into why I say that soon enough, but everything was great. I was happy. She was happy. At least I'm pretty sure she was happy. We went on a couple dates. I even met her mom. Her mom was nice. And got to see her sisters too. Now, you guys know about the nosebleed thing in anime? I kind of, my body acts like that, kind of. But instead of nosebleed, it's kind of like my nose does explode, but not in the nose, not in the bleeding sense. More just like that. I have a nose explosion whenever I see something like that. And soon as I find out in high school, I get teased for that a whole lot. But it was again the best months of my life. We went to the mall. I had my first kiss. She was my first for a lot of things, and I was her first for a lot of things too. Now, granted, we didn't do anything. We didn't do we didn't do the whole. We didn't have sex. We didn't. So if anyone thinks we did, we didn't. Just to clear that up. I was like 14 at the time, so I had that too. Within within a span of a month or two, we went to the mall on a date. Well, she told me to come. I was happy to come. Okay, phrasing. She told me to go. I was happy to go. And I went there, and I don't know if I knew, but I can't remember, but I probably did know. But her friends were there, and so was her best friend, my ex. And she ran up and hugged me. And let me tell you, that was probably the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Or, yeah, it was right. It was definitely the best feeling I ever had. It was one of those hugs that was just. It made me feel blissful. It made me feel perfect. It made me forget about all the problems, all the anger, all the hatred within me. If you don't know, I kind of absolutely hate humanity. I kind of hate humanity. And I'm also not the biggest Christian. Well, I'm not really Christian, so. A lot of my friends know this, but I'm actually kind of a Satanist. But before people in the comment section start going, well, Christians in the comment section start going off, just hear this. I'm going to type that I'll just sacrifice people. That's okay. Scratch that. I'm not trying to shit on lists, but I recently converted to Satanism. I'm trying to get the Satanist Bible and all that, but it's kind of hard when you have a very Christian mom. And she doesn't even know about this yet. So, maybe she'll find out on here. Who knows? But if I wake up tomorrow morning and she's just here waiting for me, I don't know. But like I was saying, I think Kaylin. I think May knew about this. I don't have the things cut out, so please, please just don't just go around and. Look, I don't want drama. I really don't. So just ignore that, okay, please. So May hugged me. It felt great. And then we eventually snuck off to the next to the bathrooms, or was it the photo booth? Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember all the details, but I think it was the bathroom that we snuck off to, and we started making out. Pay in mind that I have never made out with anyone before. To be honest, I didn't think I'd get a girlfriend until late high school because of who I was. And to be honest, I don't know how I have a girlfriend now. It's all because of my friend Ashton, who was my wingman. Because to be honest, I'm a complete and utter piece of shit. I got no good. My only good qualities are, well, I can't really think of any right now. See how much I hate myself? I can't even name one good thing about me. Oh boy, the things I can say bad about myself. The how much I, the, how quickly I turn on people, my anger, my hatred for people. I don't want to be a bad guy anymore. I want to be a good guy. And this whole me and May's relationship kind of helped steer me toward being good. But now back to the, we were making out, and like I said, I had never made out before. So I had no idea what to do, so I just copied what I'd seen in movies and all that, and some things I can't get into. So, oh, me, Ripper, and being an idiot, I just stick my tongue all the way into her mouth. And she pulls away and says, too much tongue. And I just go, I'm sorry. So she says, okay. Like I said, I don't remember everything. But then, next time we went there, her mom was, we went there with her mom. Well, I went there with her and her mom. I think, yeah, her friend was there too. Her, I'm not getting into any of her personal things, because that's her. That's her. That's her issue. It's her stuff. It's my stuff. But I can say this. I'm pretty sure her dad absolutely hated my guts, and he had every right to. And we got Dippin' Dots there. And if you don't know, Dippin' Dots do not work well with my intestines. They make me fart. So I had to walk away for a little bit. I think I walked away, and I farted a lot that, or I just kept it hidden. And we went to a photo booth, and oh boy, how do I talk about this? I really don't know how to talk about this, because, well, okay, I'll start off by saying this. I was a horny teenage. I was a horny teenager back then. And I still kind of am, but right now I won't. Back then, I just couldn't control it anymore, and so we went to the photo booth. Just started out with making out and little other things, and then we didn't do it. Like I said earlier, we just did hand stuff, and that happened. And then the date ended a little bit while afterward. And I went home thinking, God damn, I just did hand stuff with a girl. And I know it sounds weird and it'll sound hilarious and rich coming from me, of all people. We were moving a little too fast for my liking. Boy, that's rich coming from me. So, well, I know it's fucking rich coming from me. Again, next time we were there, we were talking about how we were gonna do it, and we just kept doing hand stuff. And I won't skip all the needless crap, the stuff that I don't want to talk about for her safety and mine, well, mainly hers. 'Cause I'm a piece of shit, and I know it. I'm a monster. I'm a fucking horrible, horrible thing. After the last time we talked was in um last September, not this September, like 20. It was like my first year of high school, September. For some reason, I don't know why, I decided, hey, it would be a good idea. Let's ignore her for the better half of several months. And to be honest, I, I'm still trying to figure out why I ignored her on Valentine's Day. Look, I'm not romantic. I'm not romantic. I'm not any of it. But still, for some reason, those few months, I ignored her. Something happened in my mind, and it was one of those moments where you know what you're doing is wrong, but you don't know why you're doing it. It was one of those. If it wasn't for that stupid fucking moment, I would have still had the best girlfriend I've ever had. I could have been because of that. She she broke up with me, and it was her friend who told me we were breaking up. And when I found out, it didn't affect me until I got home, where I broke down and started crying, crying at what I had done. And from then on, most of my friends would go on to notice that, where's Steph? Where was I? I was in a deep, dark abyss, trying to remember why I had a reason to live. My friend Ashton, I think he was the most worried about me, to be honest. And over that year, I tried to find somebody. I tried to find another reason to live, other than the animals and my mom and dad. But that year was not good to me. It was not good for me at all. I was a horrible person to her for the last part of our relationship. And I understand that. Um, I know I did try. I'm gonna say something. I haven't really told anybody that much. I, after like several months, I decide I might as well try to talk to her one last time and just try to at least apologize. And so I called her, or I started texting her, and I tried to make myself sound not as petty. I tried to make myself sound at least amount of asshole and petty I could. And I got what I deserved. We called, and I got called a gay piece of shit, among other things. But Kaylee, May, she didn't say any of that. She was calm, collective. She started talking about how I ruined her life. I was her first for a lot of things. And you know what I did? My brain and heart couldn't take hearing all this from the girl I once wanted to die for. So what did I do? I hung up on her. I've always seen myself as the monster, the wolf in sheep's clothing, the monster wanting to be human. I don't want to be human if it means having to lie and all this. If being, if a monster, if a monster is more human than the humans themselves, what does that mean? I don't edit, so everything you guys see on here is just me full on talking. I've been talking for 42 minutes now. So, this is gonna be a long video. I know it's gonna be a long video, so I'll end this video and make a second video.